Call of Duty has been a mainstay in FPS gaming for nearly 4 generations now. From its humble beginnings during the World War II games, the grown-up period, as I call it, from COD 4, Modern Warfare to Black Ops 2, the series seriously went downhill quickly once Ghost came out. While it's fair to say the series has never really produced a bad game, the franchise has been unable to recapture the glory it once had. With the 2019 installment being a reboot of the popular Modern Warfare trilogy, it's obvious Activision is banking on the nostalgia for characters like Price and Soap to bring home the bacon. Now, while I've enjoyed several past installments, World at War and Black Ops 2 being my 2 personal favorites, I'm not one of those obsessed fanboys who thinks every entry is some sort of masterpiece. I give every game I review a fair shake, and, well, sorry to be a downer, but Modern Warfare 2019 is an extremely mediocre game in nearly every way. Let's start with the campaign here. According to the marketing Activision used, this game was meant to have a more mature story, one which would make the player question the in-game choices of the actual characters. These people are meant to be morally questionable. I'm here to tell you the entire campaign fails in this regard. Literally, every action which will cause you to maybe question a person's morality is made extremely clear as being the correct thing to do.
You're still clear to engage, but live fire on Russian military is prohibited. We cannot have an international incident.
Copy. Checkpoint, that's the entry. No Russian military presence. Call it in, CIA.
Blue Viking 5, this is Echo 3-1. Troops...
Hey! We got a problem. These guys are Russian army.
Take for example this scene right here. Price and his sidekick, this dude does have a name, but he's so fucking bland you're not going to remember it, come across a group of people with the one in the center having a bomb strapped to his chest. Unable to defuse it in the few seconds left, Price does literally the only proper thing and tilts the poor sap over the edge, saving everyone else in the room. I'm sorry, but how is this at all a morally questionable situation? How about instead we have the same situation, only with a 5-minute timer on the bomb? You can easily defuse it in a set amount of time, but doing so will mean a major villain will have time to escape, going on to kill even more people in the future. Do you abandon this group despite their pleas, condemning them to death? Or do you decide to save a few people while likely condemning who knows how many in the future? This simple twist would have worked wonders for the story. Oh, but wait, I forgot. Call of Duty is a mainstream series, and as such, the target audience isn't meant to understand any story more complex than good guy versus bad guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, Crystal.
The context of the plot is also not explained at all. Take the big plot point of the resistance in Urzikstan. This country has been at war with Russia for over 20 years, and not only have none of the other major powers done fuck all to stop it, we're given literally no reason as to why Russia invaded other than Russia bad. Were there political reasons? Economic reasons? Was there a coup in Russia and the new government wants to conquer land? Did a terrorist group from Urzikstan attack them and that's why the invasion happened? I have no idea. No war is ever good guy versus bad guy, clean cut. I will remind all of you thinking it, the Allied power in World War II, which actually defeated the Axis powers in Europe, was the USSR, led by this guy. And in China, the 2 separate factions vying for control before Japan invaded in 1937 were led by these guys, who were also ruthless and generally what we in the States would consider bad people. If this is supposed to be a reboot of the Modern Warfare trilogy, the least Infinity Ward could have done is keep the same slow-paced world building the original had. Show us the steps leading to the huge conflict, how things escalated. Don't just plop us in the middle of something without explaining shit and expect people to know what's going on. Gee, that sounds familiar. Oh, but it's all okay because Captain Price is back. Remember Captain Price? Don't you remember?
Price.
A reboot story cannot stand on nostalgia alone. If a reboot is meant to be a different version of the original's events, you have to still give people a reason to connect with the characters. Nostalgia is not character development. If you haven't yet noticed, the game generally looks pretty damn good. I say generally because the cinematics during the story stutter like crazy, and the texture poppin', not just during the campaign, but even during the multiplayer, the texture poppin' is simply unacceptable in a so-called AAA title. There's texture poppin' during the match loading screens. Texture poppin' during the match loading screens. The pacing of the campaign and the level design is also way out of whack. This starts off interesting, and there are some actually really enjoyable levels, like when you have to clear out a house at night, making sure to not accidentally kill any unarmed civilians.
3-1, get up here now.
Roger, moving.
But then there's also levels which feel like they belong back in 2007. Horde mode as a story-based level concept for 30 minutes is not fun. It wasn't fun in Destiny, and it's even less fun here. The story basically wraps up in a quick, unexciting way, although it sets up the Spec Ops co-op third of the game as being some sort of continuation of the story.
Forced to hunt AQ's new leader and contain this threat while we still can.
Okay, we're in. Start up your teams. Let's operate.
I have no clue how this is meant to work though, because if you look at it from a this is totally still the story viewpoint, then this 4-man team manages to take out an entire fucking army in these apparently devoid of all civilian life cities. What? But the gameplay here just isn't fun. This mode is hard as balls, and if you don't have a team in which every member has a mic and is actually working together, you'll never finish a single mission. And since this is a Call of Duty player base, actual coordinated teamwork is extremely rare. The other type of Spec Ops mission is just Horde mode. It's Horde mode. Here's an area, hold out as long as you can. It gets boring really quickly. Okay, but what about the meat of the game? How is the COD multiplayer this year? Well, it's exactly as it's been pretty much every year. It's twitch, reflex-based gunplay, and whoever pulls the trigger first is going to get the kill most of the time. Shotguns and SMGs still reign supreme on almost every map, and most of the players still here are the hardcore fans who play every single year. You still have the same gun attachments you would expect, the same kinds of perks, and even though certain things have been tweaked, remember the scourge of drop shotting? Next to non-existent here, thank God. And the default melee is an elbow strike which takes 2 hits to kill, the 1-hit kill knife is an unlockable weapon, and some of the tried and true troll builds keep hanging around.
Enemy cluster strike incoming.
Customizable avatars make a comeback and... Okay, wait a minute, I gotta see another. Wow, that's horrendously cringy. Anyways, outside of emblems, clan tags, and banners, I've never seen the point of Call of Duty avatar customization. Nobody's gonna take the time to examine your avatar and be like, ah, yes, I can totally see this player's personality shine through. No, nobody in the COD fanbase cares. So all the classic game modes are still here. Team Deathmatch is the most played as always. Search and Destroy is either a complete blast or a frustrating waste of time. Free-for-all is still complete chaos, and in Kill Confirmed, players will either collect every dog tag they see or won't touch any of them for some reason. There are some new modes included, but the two most interesting, and the most unbalanced, are the Night Vision, TDM, and Ground War. The Night Vision mode is exactly that. No HUD, all maps are seen in shades of green, and the time to kill is extremely short. My issue here is unless you've somehow memorized the layout of every map to a T, you're gonna get lost easily. Shockingly, this isn't fun unless you're a Call of Duty pro. Ground War, on the other hand, is basically taken right out of the Battlefield series. The player count isn't nearly as high, but it's still quite packed. Vehicles play a role, though they don't dominate things, and the terrain of the maps offers plenty of horizontal/vertical maneuvering space. The breaking point for this mode? It's a Battlefield mode with the Call of Duty mechanics. A large open map in a Twitch shooter. You'll go long periods of seeing nobody only to die instantly. Front lines, back and forth battles, some semblance of team coordination? Nope, you just better hope you pull the trigger first and pray the hit detection likes your off-target aim. Ground war simply does not work. What about the map design? Well, see, that's the biggest issue here. I don't think Infinity Ward actually put any real effort into these things. Now, every COD going back to the original has some rotten maps in the bunch, but it just feels like every single map in this year's title was thrown together with no regard to mode-by-mode balancing. The amount of clear open space is off the charts, and the number of camping spots would make even the Bouncing Betty users from the World at War days blush. Spawning is, as usual, a complete mess, with the game constantly spawning you so close to an enemy you may as well be sharing the same corner. The maps so often blend together with almost none of them staying in your memory for reasons of, I like this, instead they stay with you because, what the fuck were the devs thinking? Piccadilly, ask any player, is probably the most chaotically mashed up map in the game. It doesn't work well on any game mode, and the only real fun map is the one with the tunnels. You know the one I'm talking about. Now you may have realized one thing I've yet to mention is the sound design, and that's because it's kinda terrible. I don't mean the voice acting, which while nothing stellar gets the job done, nor am I talking about the serviceable musical score or just kind of the general like ambient noises and the audio recordings of the gunfire. Oh no, I'm talking about the god-awful audio balance, specifically in multiplayer. On the default balance, it is impossible to hear anyone's voice chat. And I know, because I've got a pretty decent headset. Want to hear peeps in the lobby? Better adjust the hell out of the audio balance. Oh, and the added effect of radio distortion in voice chat does not help.
Fire! Bugger me!
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 is only a good game if you're some sort of loyal COD fan. It's not bad or poorly made per se, and it has some areas which will stand out, but if you're looking for a reason to get back into the series after being absent for several titles in a row, this ain't it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare earns a fair 5.5 out of 10.
We have a hostage situation at Piccadilly Station.
Mr. Right, Sergeant! Hostages in the underground!
Hello everyone, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you haven't yet, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it so you'll always be notified whenever I upload new videos. I don't really have a set schedule, honestly. I try to put out a review every 2 weeks, but they kinda just arrive when they're finished. Also, if you would like to help support the channel even more, why not consider becoming a patron on my Patreon? For literally just $1 a month, less than the price of a cheeseburger, you can help support one little panda and their dreams of doing video game related stuff on the internet, because that's such an original idea. Okay, thanks, bye!